Zane Buren. On the other hand, you're not. You got drugs in your system. You tested positive for tetrahydrocannabinol marijuana. Your bond is revoked. What is his bond?
30,000, Judge.
It is revoked. It is now doubled to $30,000. Yeah, you can blame yourself, not anybody else. You got to have I'm going to speak and you be quiet. Thank you. This isn't a debate. The test shows you've got drugs in your system. All right. And stand by. Yeah. You shouldn't be surprised. I mean, you're in organized criminal activity of making drugs. Anyway, your bond is now $30,000. Plus, you have to have a drug patch as a condition of bonds. So if you post a bond, once any drug gets into your system, I'll know about it. And then you won't have a bond the next time, which is this one out. Mr. Dusler, you're his attorney?
Yes, sir.
All right. He's going to be taken into custody. What's the next event?
An announcement, Judge.
An announcement in 4 weeks. That is all. And
Your Honor, if I could address that for you first, I just do something.
I don't know, who are you?
I'm the father of one of the defendants who got getting already locked up, James Byrd.
Okay, who is his attorney?
He has a point of warning, but I was not actually, that's what I was going to speak to. I was going to try. He got his bond revoked by you, so you know, had it dirty year analysis, sir.
Oh, today?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And well, sir, he was only arrested March 16th, and he in school, he's working, he has not been using, he hasn't had enough time for the THC to get out of the system. And his attorney was just a point of, he should have told you that. But if you look, sir, he wasn't even picked up, he didn't even have a clue he had a warrant. But he has not been using, sir. I'm his father. I'm it's watching every single step of the way. It's making sure he's reporting, making sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's enrolled in school and he has a job at a recording studio. He is
Yeah, that's right. I remember hearing about that.
Yes, sir. He is all the way out of trouble, Your Honor. He has not been using.
The scientific test proves otherwise.
Well,
It's not a debate.
It's arrest.
I'm sorry, it's not a debate. If he has drugs in his system when he's tested, that's all we know for sure, because you don't have any method of telling when that went to, you're going to speak over me? You don't have any method of telling when that might happen. You don't know. You don't know. But when they're tested in the courtroom, when they test positive, sorry, they shouldn't have been ever using drugs in the first place. But when it tests positive, there is no way you can say that didn't have anything to do with recent use, misuse, not you. So you can, all right, you need to tell your attorney the court's orders are what they are. I'm not changing them because of your opinion. Who is the attorney on the case? Who?
Don Dusler.
Don Dusler. Is he around?
I didn't understand why he didn't say that to you in the beginning when you reported. He didn't argue anything, and I didn't understand that.
You need to call him and talk to him. Don, what's his phone number?
Walk down on me, sir. I'm
going to give you his phone. I'm going to give you his phone number. Here, come on out. Yeah, you have a right to talk to him and to get heard and find out what his plan is on representing your family. Yeah.
Your Honor, I tried to speak with him, and he told me he didn't care and that I get to go do something. We tried to speak to him 3 weeks since he was appointed to him. He would not answer his phone. He would not return calls. He would not return messages.
All right.
Not
what's
what's
the defendant's name? Again, your son's name?
Zane Byrd.
Okay. I'm going to set that for a hearing tomorrow morning.
I
know if I can.
Okay, we live in Austin, Texas. I got up at
sorry.
4 a.m. to be here.
Yeah,
we were going to
see he's gone. What I wanted to do is set it for tomorrow, have Mr. Dusler in here explain why he's acting that way. If that's the way he's acting now, I'm hearing your version. I want to hear him too.
Yes,
But he's supposed to handle all defendants are supposed to be represented by competent, vigorous representation.
And he told me outside he didn't care, sir. And that's where his words.
Well, I'd like to, yeah, I need to,
Yes, sir.
to talk to
Tara
him
was
about
standing there when I was trying to talk to him.
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, he would, he told me he didn't hear.
Yeah.
He was saying he was outside.
well, I mean, don't call witnesses if you
Sorry,
don't know what they're
no,
saying.
sir, I'm sorry. I just thought, no, he was standing there. I apologize. But Your Honor, I can attest that my son has been staying out of trouble.
Okay, but
I-
the scientific test proves otherwise. We've been doing this 19 years, sir. and
It's been less than 40 days, sir, since he was arrested. And he, I promise you, sir, he's been doing everything to stay out of the way. Enrolled in school, in college.
You're saying that the marijuana has been in his system for 40 days?
Sir, he's.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. I would like
Sorry,
I would-
it's not going to work.
Sir,
It doesn't. That's not the
marijuana
way
can
it
last up
works.
to hair and hair follicles 90 days, up to 60 days in your urine if you're a chronic user.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. We're going to give you Mr. Dusler's number. I want to know if he's refusing. There's a posted note right there. If he is not, if he does not answer phone calls in regards to immediate family members who are trying to
Yes,
get information for their client, that would be inappropriate. And I'll have,
yes, sir. I'm sorry.
and then he's appointed at the court's discretion. And if lawyers are not treating clients and relatives of clients, especially those who are in custody appropriately and professionally, then I'll deal with it firmly.
Your Honor.
And that I don't put up with that. And I don't generally get complaints.
And I
But
would,
when it does, when we do, we get to we address them. You have a right to find out as much information as you can about your
agree,
child.
Your Honor, but Your Honor, I promise you, my son, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for the fact that he was moving so well in life. I would not be standing here for him. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Well, just at the end of the day, not to say that you're
still
don't act,
3,000.
don't act naive. But let me just tell you, when people use drugs, I've only been doing this for 40 years, involved as a defense attorney,
Yeah.
a prosecutor, a judge now for 19 years.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to drugs, people are rarely forthright
Yes, sir.
because it's something they know is wrong and they hide it, and it gets the best of them, and they lose their abilities to really think rationally because they become the drug overpowers them, and it's always been that way.
Always, yes, sir.
And
Long as
and I see it over and over again.
My brother
And
died of
the
drug
family
overdose.
members are the last, they're never going to do things in front of their family or let their family know because they know it's wrong. They're ashamed of it, but they're stuck. And I'm thinking, when we deal with this, we have a 92% success rate in our probation, especially drug cases.
Yes, sir.
The average is 75% in the country.
Yes.
We have a 92 because we deal with things pretty aggressively on getting help, especially with drugs.
Yes, sir.
But
I-
I know what you're saying,
he has,
but
he
I
doesn't
know-
use
I
any
don't-
other drugs.
but I
at
know
all.
what happens over and over
Yes,
again
yes.
for 40 years, sir.
Yes, sir.
40 years.
I have no
It's-
doubt in my
The
mind.
parents come up here and they're shocked and ashamed and they're trying to defend their child, but he's a grown up
Yes, sir.
and you don't see him all the time.
We,
And you don't see him all the time, and they're not going to use drugs in front of you. They're
No,
not going to
sir,
run
I do.
embarrassed.
Yes, sir. I wouldn't, I understand what you're saying. Yes, sir.
But
Again,
and
he
the
doesn't
scientific
use-
test is what we use, and that is
Your Honor, if
is,
you were
uh,
to give him a
proven.
chance, if you were to give him a chance, I can guarantee you, he comes back in for 30 days, he will not have anything in his
it's in the
system.
debate.
That would give
I don't
plenty
deal
of time
with,
for his system to be clean of
I
marijuana.
can't deal with, I'm not going to deal with you on that. He tested positive, and that's what we test for. Now, his lawyer needs to get in the game to get him up here so we can resolve this case one way or the other.
So that's when I had asked him outside. I asked him if he would come in and try to talk to you. He says, no, this isn't Austin. And I said, sir, you're here to represent my son. He said,
That's,
do you live in Austin? And he brought up Austin again. I said, sir, I lived here as a child. I know what
I
you see.
understand. And he
And then
shouldn't,
he walked off on me. And I
Well-
said, sir, can you please go let them know he hasn't been out?
Are you-
long enough?"
but you're not gonna be able to, be here tomorrow?
No, sir. I missed up. I own a tattoo studio, and
Okay.
he's got school in the morning and work tomorrow.
I'm sorry. I can get him back
Please
in the
go,
morning
please.
and talk to the attorney and have him explain, but you're not gonna be here. And having explained what you have told me, and without you being here,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be much of a debate.
Yes, sir.
But I can bring your son back and ask, or direct him, since I appointed him
That
as
would
the
be
attorney,
amazing, sir.
direct him to aggressively deal with this case, and also be forthright with family members, close family members, so they are not in the dark on the way he's going to represent your son.
Yes, sir. And I can show you numerous calls that we've made to his office, both of us, over the past 2 weeks. No answer, no reply to messages, very thorough messages, very clear. Made sure we just need to get some information about court. We were trying to appear by Zoom today because we live so far and he
Yes,
had
sir.
work.
Oh.
And we thought that would be better, but Your Honor, I
But
promise
see,
you.
that's,
if
see,
he
that's
wasn't
another problem.
working so hard
This
to
is
stay
why I
away
don't
from
do,
here,
see, this is also why we rarely do Zoom, is because when it's dealing with drug cases, we don't have the ability to test.
Sure,
And
yes, sir.
I can guarantee every drug defendant would want to appear by Zoom, and we're not able to test, which is what we have
And
to
Your
do.
Honor, we didn't get a reply. We drove our butts up here. I got up
Good.
at 4 o'clock this morning after I worked till midnight.
thought
I
the
slept
storm-
an
you got
hour.
Caught in a storm, huh?
I drove through it, Your Honor.
Yeah,
I
that was a
drove
bad
through it.
storm.
He's not a flight risk. He's not going anywhere, and he's not a doper. He smokes in the hot, man. And I,
That's not right,
no,
but that's not
no,
right.
it's not.
And you
It's
don't
not
even-
right.
And here's the
he's
deal,
not-
you don't
he's
even know
not
what you're, if, unless you're making it, you don't know what's in it anymore.
right. It's
I mean,
dangerous.
I had people here with synthetic marijuana cases.
It's so
Which
bad.
is-
And you know,
which is-
well,
like-
there's a lot
like-
of legislature going on, so there's a lot of that stuff, THC going on in Austin right now. And I totally understand it's illegal, period. But Your Honor, I promise you, it's been a small amount of time, and with the amount of weed that these guys smoke every day, all day, I know that he's doing the right thing, Your Honor. If he wasn't, I wouldn't be standing here.
No.
He's doing better than he's ever done. His
All right.
mother's been in prison for murder since he was 4.
So
I wasn't worth. His mother's been in prison for murder since he was 4. Out of this, Jennifer Walter. Yeah,
in
that's
this
it.
court,
I don't know who it was Halloween night of 1999. Her Jennifer Walter and Christopher
Okay. Yeah, when that's before I got there.
yeah, it was me. I was 19 years old when I had him. It was me. And that was it. And I didn't have any parental guidance. I'm lucky to be standing here in front of you myself, sir. I'm
Why is that? Because you've learned to make the right choices.
because I didn't make I didn't make good choices, and I didn't have anybody to help me make good choices. But he has somebody here now, and although I wasn't doing the best when I was younger, as past 14 years have been phenomenal. I own 2 businesses. I also help with an entertainment company, and I'm staying out the way.
Mm.
And I've worked. I would not. A year and a half ago, I would not be standing here talking to you. I wouldn't be here.
What I do when you test positive, you heard
Yes, sir.
bond is
Mhm.
revoked,
Yes,
then
sir.
it's double. Plus you have to wear a drug patch.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
I can't
all
afford
of the-
double the bond. I
Well,
spent everything I had just to get him
What
out. and I
I'll
would
do is
only-
I'm gonna list, I'll bring it back tomorrow. Whatever the bond may be, I can change a bond.
Yes,
for
sir, I'm
anything.
poor.
But a drug patch is going to be required.
Yes,
of-
Your Honor, if he comes back in here and he's dirty, lock him up and don't give him a bond. I don't
But-
care.
But
But I
he
promise
can't,
you, he's
we
doing
don't
good.
release him until he tests negative.
Okay, yeah, it will.
And
probably
then
take
he's gonna
about
have to have a
30
drug
days.
patch, because if you put a drug patch on early, it'll test positive.
Yeah, right, yeah, yes, sir.
When they
And
take
I don't
it off.
want that for him.
Yeah,
man.
it
I
needs-
just don't
needs
want
to
him
be
to get
followed.
kicked out of school.
So we'll bring him back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then I'll do a drug test on him and see what happens tomorrow.
Okay, yeah,
And then-
it's just for marijuana, and that stuff binds to the
No.
fats. It's not like it's out of your system in 72 days. If you do the research, it binds to the fat cells in your
Thank
system.
you.
30 to 60
I'm familiar
days.
with it,
Yes,
sir.
up to 90 in
But,
the hair.
but too often marijuana is used
Yes,
as a
sir.
carrier with other methods. And
He just had,
also you don't know what's in how marijuana, some marijuana is stronger than others, and it just works that way and works differently. And that's why when you sniff it, if you smell it, you run like the wind,
Mhm.
especially if you're on bond. You don't even want to sniff it.
Yes,
You
sir.
want to move out of the way, stay out of the way.
Oh, and that's almost.
Because you don't know
impossible out
what it's
there.
going to take to get into your system. And the tests are those are profoundly accurate tests. Is what has been proven accurate for decisions and science. So that's why we don't do it flippantly.
If it had been over 2 months, I would definitely not even have asked you anything about that or even attempted to. I just thought his attorney should have said, Your Honor, sir, he has only been out of jail for 40 days. He hasn't had enough time to get his system cleaned out. Give him a couple of weeks to get his system cleaned out, come back, take a test.
We'll bring him back tomorrow and
Yes,
see
sir.
where he is.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll bring him back every few days until it tests negative.
Okay, and that's fair. And when he
That's
says
what we-
negative, sir, I promise you,
And I'll talk to Mr. Dusler about what your complaints are, but
I'll try again, Your Honor,
Yes,
to
sir.
contact him. And even on his Google reviews, it says he does not contact us. Because I tried to make sure I was calling the right thing. And other reviews, it says he will not communicate with his client. And it's several reviews if you look yourself, and that's the thing.
I don't.
I was scared when I walked out there and he was representing my kid because he didn't even sit here and say, oh, no, sir, he's this,
Okay,
that was the
understand.
first thing he should have said was that he has only been out for
Yes.
40 days.
okay. All right.
Well, I really appreciate
Thank you,
you
sir.
taking the time to
You
listen.
have
to
his,
me.
you have the defendant's name for tomorrow?
Yeah.